July the 3rd, 2019, for a very special Mr. Video Game Super live show streaming service on twitch.tv, brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. Everybody, clap your hands, say yeah. Woo!
Woohoo!
All right.
I am always your host, Lecker Kai Travis, whatever the hell you want to call me, and we are doing another episode of Mr. Video Games here. We're doing it a day early because for us Americanos, it's a special day tomorrow, so it goes. So, yay. Of course, we have people with us and explanations to do, but first, she was banned for Twitch for 2 weeks for being too much of a badass. It's Lindsay, aka Merowin!
Hello, lovelies.
And
Yeah.
his toggles are always set on. It's Brian, aka Wonderboy.
Just like my DMs and my sexuality, it is always on. Always. Wrath Month. Yeah. I'm totally. By the way, real quick, I just need to do this. I did not. Whoever came up with the idea for Wrath Month, I can't remember the Twitter handle that it was, but fuck yes, I'm totally down for fucking LGBT Wrath Month. Let's fucking get it.
I feel it. Yeah, and of course,
Yes.
next month is Lust Month, so let's keep this in mind.
Every month is Lust Month. Did you not hear what I said? The second thing out of my mouth.
That's entirely fair. So, you may be wondering, where is the Lady Goggles, the normal person who what comes on stream and bees the lady voice for the show? All of the non-people who are listening, but likely listening to us in future under the recording. Well, congratulations, everybody. Merowin here is replacing Lady Goggles. Not that we have any issue with Lady Goggles, but she has gotten a full-time job and is reducing her stream schedule to not burn out and die a slow, horrible death. So, we've got Merowin here instead.
Hi.
Well, no, I mean it's a shame that you had to lose Joan, but I couldn't think of anybody better to pop in and join the Mr. Video Games crew
Yeah,
than Lens here.
I mean, she's been the fill-in several times when either me or Joan have been away for various reasons, so yeah, great fucking person to have with us.
Oh, thank you guys. I've got really big shoes to fill.
I do too, because you may also notice that the stream doesn't look as pretty today. I'm going to be working on it over the course of the next few weeks, but I'm going to be taking over the streaming and what make pretty stuff here on Dead Sun Entertainment. So work with me. It'll be a process. And if there are
I'm sure everyone. Oh, sorry.
if there's any problems, if you hear any things you like, dislike, etc., please tell me.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone will be patient with us and with you.
Hopefully.
That's what the internet's known for, right?
Yeah, internet's totally known for patience.
Yeah.
So, shall we get to the actual video games then, or have I missed anything important?
No, I think we're good to get into the nitty gritty here.
All right, Lindsay, you've been playing some video games, haven't you?
Yes, actually, I just finished a marathon 4.5 hour stream of this game, Armajet. It's described as a 2.5D side scroller shooter, and it is so much fun. It's cross platform on mobile, which is what's being displayed here, and PC.
Okay.
Currently for mobile, it's only Android.
Wow.
Free to play, early access, tiny little studio out in California called Super Bit Machine. Really involved with their community. Super friendly people. Like I had one of the couple of the devs hanging out at my stream today, and
Nice.
they're just an awesome group of people. Like usually you get online gaming and you see a lot of toxicity and stuff along those lines, and I haven't experienced any of it. Like these guys and gals are amazing. They do tournaments, super easy to pick up and play. Like this is not my typical type of game. Um, but really, really hard to master. I probably had one of my best winning streaks ever today. Oddly enough, Elsif, who is shown here, is one of the competitive players.
Mm.
So, and also super nice person. They've got a Discord and everything. Like they're just amazing people, and they really care about their community.
Nice. Did you ever play a game back in the day, Gunbound?
I think I had looked at it, but had been scared away because, like I said, I don't usually play shooters. I've gotten more into them since I started playing Warframe.
Mm.
But this is fairly unlike Warframe. But like you can even see like the mobile controls are super intuitive.
Yeah, it's toggle direction and then you fire after your cooldown. I like it.
Yeah, and like on PC, it's WASD. W is up. Um, and then mouse is your main weapon, which in this case they're using one of the rocket launchers, and right mouse is your secondary, which it looks like they're using the enforcer, which is like a little one-shot pistol.
Well,
You start off with a grenade, and yeah, that happens. Airstrikes, they hurt a lot.
I would imagine so.
Brian,
Got splatted by a few.
I understand
Yes.
you've been playing a few things of Apex for the season 2 yourself.
Yes, so Apex Legends launched season 2 of their content yesterday. And of course, they announced a much improved battle pass to go along with some changes to the map. Um, and they definitely delivered on both ends. They rebalanced some of the weapons, changed some ammo counts. I think they like basically nerfed shotguns by decreasing all of the ammo counts across all shotguns in the game. But the most notable changes have to be the map itself. Much like Fortnite, how they basically altered the map with every new season, I think since like season 2 or 3. Apex took that and did their own special thing with it. So if you ever played Apex, outside of the map in like the water around the island that you're on, there are these giant creatures called Leviathans. Well, in season 2, the power that keeps the creatures out of the island has been destroyed, and so the Leviathans are on the map, and they have destroyed multiple buildings and outposts, and 2 new outposts have been created. Both of them in like kind of empty spaces where people were already launching a lot at the beginning of games. One of them, I think, is called Containment. That one is a place where supposedly you're supposed to be lured there for a good loot. The other one is called which is basically a similar thing, but stories high, and the whole thing is like it's the lore behind it is that it was a scientific experiment place for creatures within the world. That you're supposed to be lured there for high loot, but then there's supposed to be these creatures that would be like, "Bah, I'm gonna get you," but they don't really get you. And then they made some changes to another area of the Shattered Forest. It's no longer burnt out. They flyers are now there. These winged creatures that came through, and they've made the area more lush with flora and fauna again. So some pretty map, especially considering that this is the first time they've ever altered it. I think some people might have been expecting a second, considering that there's been some teasing with that. But this was a good in between, I'd say. And honestly, Kings Canyon is still a really good map to play on, even without it being altered. So, but the one cool thing is that with the Leviathans on the map, they they offer a really fun and challenging risk reward. So we're talking about like skyscraper-sized creatures, right? They have these giant feet, and if you time it perfectly, whenever they lift their feet, there is like really good loot and items underneath their feet. But you only have like 6 seconds to get in there, grab it, and get out before his foot comes back down, or else you're fucking crushed and you're dead. So, like, it's just super rad that they've added this other element of risk reward along with like the being able to land on the supply ship whenever you launch out of the original airship, and you know deciding what tactics and strategy to take when going for the supply drops. And of course, with a new season comes a new character, Watson, who's a new defense character. I have not gotten a chance to play her because I have not dropped the money to buy her. You do have to purchase her to play as her, either with real life money or with in-game currency that you earn through leveling up. Um, but overall, like I jumped in for a few games today. Like it still plays really well. Obviously, I mean it's Apex; they're not going to change that really. And I like the new structure of the map. I'm probably going to jump into it a bit more. Also, I just found this before we went on the air, and I was playing around with it right before I jumped into our chat here. Someone I don't I'm not familiar with these developers, but someone made a fan game based off of all of the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade games.
Okay.
It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rescue Palooza.
I was looking at that because I played
Yes.
Turtle in Time recently for the first
Yes.
time.
So this came out in like middle of June. I downloaded it and played it for about 30 minutes before we went on the air. If you have any love or nostalgia for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game on the NES or any of the Turtles in Time or the various arcade cabinets that gave you multiplayer Turtles action, like this is a fun game. The major idea is that every time you defeat a boss or finish a level or like and rescue somebody, you can play as that character going forward. So there's like over 60 playable characters, and you can play as April. Like you can play. They even have like some of the weird like side characters from the animated series. Like it's just so in depth. You can play as Vernon, April's
Holy
cameraman
cow.
from the animated series. Yeah, like they go deep with this, and like they have like a big hub world with a bunch of different levels. Like they put a lot of love into this, and they classified themselves as a nonprofit to kind of stay away from some of the copyright stuff that could come to them for having this game out. So I don't know. I'm digging it so far. I'm gonna keep playing it until either it gets taken down or it. I don't know. Nickelodeon may not be as litigious, but then again, they're owned by Viacom, so who the fuck knows?
True.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to point that one out real quick because I was having a super fun blast with this thing before we went on the air.
I
Yeah.
heard that eventually you even get to play as like the samurai rabbit.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I can't remember that character's name, but they are in the game.
I just appreciate you can play as April O'Neil, though. Is it kind of weird to me that when she does like the little jump attack, she looks like a cat girl for like half a second?
Tiny bit.
Wasn't there a plot arc where she ended up a mutant for a little bit and she was a cat girl?
That wouldn't surprise me. I can't
Not at
recall
all.
off the top of my head at the moment.
I was obsessed with this show when I was a kid, so
Same.
Yeah, same here.
But myself, I have been playing Bloodstained like the rest of the internet has. And this
Mm-hmm.
game, okay, I want you guys know me and how little that I ever, like, am a completionist in anything.
Yeah.
I did all the side bosses, all the extra stages, I 100%ed the map. This game is good. It just if you ever played the old Castlevania games, and I was so worried about this, especially after several Kickstarters, not just Mighty Number 9, but Toe Jam and Earl wasn't as good as one might have hoped for. It was a little janky, and then this was not just good, it was frickin' amazing. I mean, even the voice work's incredible. Of course, when you have David Hayter amongst your cast, it's hard to say, oh, they worked on this.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay is extraordinarily fluid, though avoid the Switch release if you can. My roommate's been playing the Switch release, and there's a lot of bugs. It occasionally crashes. There's a lot of delay between your map spaces and things along those lines. The developers know that it's an issue. They had hoped to have a day one patch out when they released the Switch, but deadlines happen. They're going to get it within the next few weeks, hopefully. So don't buy it now, but keep your ears out for the Switch patch if you're going to buy it for Switch. Otherwise, PlayStation 4 runs beautifully. And from what I understand of the PC release, you could run it on a toaster for all it matters. So
Huh.
yeah, it's all Unreal, and as long as drop like some of the rain settings and stuff, the splash damage and whatnot, it runs fairly smoothly on even the least good of hardware. So for $30, I can't give this a better recommend. I have not played a game as much as I have played this on anything. So go play it. It's platformy, jumpy, fiery goodness. All right, let's get into the actual stories for this week, shall we?
Definitely.
All right, let's start off with an interesting one. A company developing a game called Mordhau. Um, and it has been driving players away in droves after there was a conversation with one of their artists in an interview. And the artist stated that they were planning for toggles since the original game had nothing but white guys. Uh, they were planning on toggles to keep nothing but white guys potentially in the game. And
Mm.
people started taking deeper and deeper looks, especially Kotaku was one of them. There's certain things on their website that makes it look a little weird if you look at their community and you see things along the lines of referring to their characters as their niggas, which is great. And just all sorts of wonderful little bits of racism spattered about. Now, they have responded saying that these are people not involved with actual decisions, that if they had known that they would go in and talk about issues along these lines, that they would not have sent animators to go speak on it, since these were ideas they may have tossed around the room and quickly dropped. So they may have heard things, is their statement.
Heard things, huh? Things like what they were discussing possibly putting in the fucking game.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, that's usually what happens whenever you talk about things. You're talking about things to see if they're good or not.
Yeah, these are bad ideas. Having toggles to keep your characters white and male.
Yeah, yeah. God, I cannot believe. So this all kind of that whole area of this. That's just one area of this Mordhau thing. That whole area stemmed from like them talking about adding in the ability to create female and female characters and characters of color. Going forward, which right now all you can do is create a white male, like you said, and their rationale behind the idea for even entertaining that idea of being able to toggle, giving players the ability to toggle off whether they see female or people of color character models in the game is astounding to me. They do not want to offend the people who are fucking being shitty on their game and their forums. They don't want to offend the people using hate speech.
And to a level, I can almost understand not wanting to offend customers, even though I don't like them, but we're talking about people who are mad about hate speech. And let's be clear, in the interview directly, PC Gamer, after some pushback, gave the direct lines that were stated. Um, in here, another member of the Criterion team confirmed plans for a simple client-side toggle to let players disable female characters after they were added to Mordhau. This was partly to address the quote valid unquote complaint that female characters would be unrealistic.
Yeah.
See, but okay,
Okay.
there were female, for lack of a better term, female warriors in the Middle Ages.
Mm.
You didn't read about them because it was considered shameful, but they existed. You want to make a realistic medieval battle simulator, you got to include them. Sorry. That's the way it is. And worrying about offending the toxic community that has somehow cultivated, I mean, really, it should be a non-issue.
Yeah, their statements have been that we don't have the time to really moderate all of our boards. There's only 11 people on this team, and all the moderators are completely unpaid. But you're also, like, choosing which moderators you have, and that's kind of a moderator's job, right?
In some ways, yes. And also, and throw this out there because like I don't think that you get to use the excuse that you only have an 11-person team and that's why you can't effectively modify your online communities and then turn around and say like, oh well, they misheard or they didn't understand whenever we were talking about this, like they didn't get the memo. Like, you have 11 people in your office, like, word travels fast.
Yeah, you
Like,
don't
you
have a
don't
lot of people to tell.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's not really too many channels of communication for something that drastic to get lost in, whether it be the actual topic or the intentions of that topic.
Mm.
So you can't have it one way and the other at the same time. Now, in terms of before I go back to the modifying thing, I do have one thing to address in terms of like the unrealistic nature of putting female and people of color in the game. How about this? Why does it have to be so realistic as to marginalize communities? Like, I don't care if only white male people fought as knights in the Middle Ages. We're not in the fucking Middle Ages anymore. And if you want to hold on to that era as something that you want to celebrate as the most as a pinnacle of realism in terms of race relations and gender relations and all this other bullshit, then maybe you need to fucking take a look at yourself in the fucking mirror.
And
Because
let's be real here. There's also been several people pointing out things like, hey, in your game, a frying pan does triple the damage of a pitchfork. So you're talking about realism in this game?
yeah, it's a video game. It's meant to not necessarily be as realistic as like the history books say. Also, like, you can still craft a game with realistic combat for that era without subscribing to the fucking gender and race dynamics of that era. Because the minute you do that, you exclude a large portion of the community that might be interested in this game. Because this is a game that has appealed to a large population of players. I mean, it's sold over 1 million copies already, just basically on word of mouth. And it's definitely like pulled in a diverse audience that is quickly being like pushed out in favor of white males saying that they need a space for themselves.
Yeah. And I mean, their whole, well, we have a very small team and we can't keep up with the sheer amount of players. Well, then you either limit your servers or you take a look really carefully at the fact that it's currently on Steam for 33.99 Canadian for the base game, or you can get the supporter bundle for 45.11. Hire some mods.
Here's an example of some of the wonderful things posted on their forums by somebody who was still active at the time that this article came to light. We white people just can't have anything to ourselves, can we? Now we can't even play our fucking video games in peace without some nog like yourself screaming bloody murder over the lack of negroids.
We can't police that language. It's historically accurate.
Ugh, gag me with a spoon.
Yeah, you know that usually I'm kind of the middle ground on these things with Catherine. I'm still interested. There's a few Japanese issues going on there and things, but yeah, sure, fine. That's not a fucking excuse. There's none. There isn't.
No, and to think that they are, the developers are also afraid to put in, chat filters, like word filters in their chats, in their chat service online during the games, because they are afraid that it's going to cause players to accuse them of censorship. And I think it was like that, and then they said like, oh well, but players will easily get around it, so why even put it in there? You have at least make them make the effort to get around it. And like, if a few innocent words get knocked out because of to keep the fucking hate speech out of the channels, that's a perfectly fine sacrifice. And also, you need to understand that censorship is not, like, this is not a case of censorship. Okay, like, they can say whatever. No one is saying that they can't say whatever they want. All they're saying is that if they do say that sort of shit, it doesn't belong on their service, and they can fucking ban you for it. That's all it is. It's a private company. It is their servers that they are charged to maintain, and right now they are perfectly fine letting them become a cesspool.
All right, as we are trying to stay quick this week, final thoughts, everybody. Lightning round.
I was looking at buying this game. I was genuinely interested in this game, especially after the clusterfuck that Kingdom Come ended up being. But
Ugh.
now, like, no, I can't. I can't support this. I can't support this company. And guys, just vote with your wallets, please. Please.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Criterion came out and said that the toggle, it was not an option that they were putting in the game, because that would have been so much more gross, just on top of all the other gross. At the same time, though, you've made plenty of money off of this. Look into hiring moderators for your channels. You already have a overstrained community manager that could really use some help, and it would really go a long way to showing that you actually care about people in your fan base that are marginalized.
All right, moving on to our next topic. Aren't you excited to talk about Epic again?
That depends.
This time, they have come to the belief at this point that the only way for them to keep PC gaming alive and well is to disrupt the status quo and to buy in to the idea that you have to go through somebody along these lines has to spend the money in order to reduce the price of how much money that the companies are making back out of this. It's a fucking interesting take, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is, because like, I mean, it's just obviously, like, if you're in an ecosystem like PC gaming is, where the major storefront basically monopolized the marketplace in a lot of ways, like, yeah, like, if you're gonna have a pretty decent service come in and offer, better revenue cuts and more free titles, like stuff that appeals to consumers, like obviously that's going to start bumping it up. I don't know if it's the only option, but Epic is able to do that. They're able to offer the exclusives that they have and offer the revenue split that they have because of all that sweet Fortnite money.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like I don't know if like without Fortnite, Epic would not be running the Epic Game Store. I don't feel.
Now, amongst all of this, you may have heard about one of them exclusives coming to them, Shenmue 3. People being unhappy because they kickstarted it thinking it would come to Steam, and instead it'll be an exclusive for a year. So, the response that Epic has had is, okay, you don't want it? We'll refund you. Epic will refund you. Not the developers, not the publishing house. Epic's going to give you your money back.
I mean, smart move by them to clearly they positioned themselves as the consumer friendly storefront right now. They have been much more vocal about it. Obviously, they've done a lot of goodwill gestures. This being the most recent, and honestly, I'm glad that they did it because I don't really think that EastNet was going to be able to do it. Honestly, I mean, they basically said they weren't able to do it. They already spent most of that money on development of Shenmue 3. So I'm glad that Epic stepped in to do this because, like, from a consumer rights perspective, it's a good idea. At the same time, though, this still speaks to a Kickstarter culture that if Yeast was not linked up to Epic, then a lot of people will be out a lot of money.
Yeah, this all is weird to me, especially with Epic footing the bill. And let's face it, every Shenmue that has ever been produced so far has been a colossal loss leader. These games have lost so much money, despite the fact that they always sell well. They always go rampantly over budget. So, how much money did Epic throw into this in the first place to get the exclusive, and then to not just get the exclusive and sell the game at a discounted price on their store, but also saying after the fact, yeah, we'll refund you for the game. That's fine. We'll do it. How much money does Epic actually have?
Oh, they have billions, dude. Like that. People highly underestimate the ability of Fortnite to make money for that. Yeah. Like, which actually brings up a interesting like through line with that because like Epic has positioned themselves as the consumer friendly product now. They are saying like a lot of their practices are going to push Steam to kind of offer similar revenue splits and similar consumer friendly procedures that they're doing. They're shaking up the system, but they're all doing it off of the profits of a game that has been criticized for its predatory practices in terms of microtransactions and loot box mechanics. So it's weird. Like in some ways, like they're definitely pro-consumer. In other ways, they are definitely anti-consumer. So it's just weird. Like this predatory thing is funding all of their goodwill gestures. It's sort of gross, but also like I don't know. It's one of those weird questions. Do the ends justify the means in some way?
Well, interesting you say that. Paradox seems to believe, though, they have basically called the 70-30 revenue split that is industry standard currently horrendous and outrageous. Uh, I think the platform holders are taking too much money. Everyone in the press here, just quote me on that, said the CEO of Paradox. Literally asked them to quote me on this. This was a physical game. It costs a lot of money. This doesn't cost anything. So Epic has done a great job for the whole industry because you get 88%. Fantastic move. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Oh, so yeah, like obviously, like I'm with them. The 70-30 split is pretty archaic and based off of a production system that is really not viable as we move into digital products and digital storefronts. So yeah, like I that's the thing. Like I can criticize Epic for like the way that they do their business practices and the way that they message a lot of their goodwill gestures towards the community that they cultivate. But at the end of the day, like there is some like their practices are meant to do something good in terms of development game developer revenue streams. They definitely have them in mind. Whether you want to say that the consumers are at the same level in that mind, who knows? But no, there's no question that the 70-30 revenue split is a problem.
Yeah, and let's face it, it's the same on the actual consoles themselves. If you buy a game on the Nintendo Switch, the cartridge costs as much as the download. The download is just sending the bits. And while there is not a zero cost to that transfer of, 12 to 16 gigabytes worth of data for a Switch game, it's still not the same amount for the packaging, the artwork, the cartridge, etc., that goes into selling a physical copy of the game.
No, not to mention the manufacturing costs that go on top of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that Epic is doing this, maybe you can hope the consoles will go the same way because the game will be cheaper on Epic suddenly than especially your cross production releases. Let's say the game is suddenly $48 instead of $50 on Epic. Well, a lot of people are going to take that up as a pretty good opportunity.
I mean, that's a definite possibility. It's just one of those things where like the console and PC ecosystems are still pretty separated in terms of player base. You know, there's definitely more bleed over between the two, where like people are playing on both PC and console, but there's still a very divided community between the two. So I don't necessarily know if the majority of PlayStation 4 players are looking to see if games are cheaper on the Epic Store. Unfortunately, because it's a good point. Like if they're able to, like, obviously the move to digital goods should come with a price decrease, but based off of the elimination of the manufacturing costs. But it's video games, and if there's one thing that video games have taught us is that they will find any way to increase a profit margin.
True that.
Yeah.
And the last bit, just, want to throw that out there as a reminder. Don't buy your fucking keys from G2A for anything. Whether it's Steam, Epic, Humble, I don't give a fuck. Don't buy your shit off of G2A. Multiple developers have come forward. Developer Rage Squid, for instance, encourage players to please torrent their games if they can't afford the game on full price or sale or whatever. If you can't afford it, don't buy from key resellers. The reason being that all of these companies have come forward with this statement about G2A is that people will buy the keys off of G2A and then come to them hoping for some technical support, questions. Hey, why isn't this Russian key working for my Steam? I bought it. Why won't you guys refund me?
Because that key was likely stolen. Because that's usually how G2A allegedly gets their game keys. Like I am totally in for this for this sentiment because like people have been decrying G2A for years. They've been pointing out the problematic practices with G2A's business system. You know, like it's been shitty for a long time, but like anything else on the internet, it's still persisted because enough people are being paid to spout how great it is that a lot of the messaging around it has been drowned out by promotion.
honestly, when the story first came across my dashboard, I had never heard of G2A before. But after doing more and more research, it's like, I mean, if they are so bad that like publishers are going, please just pirate our game instead. Like I I have no words. Like gaming is supposed to be pure and joyful and the fuck is this?
Yeah, so
It's the
just
shittiest version of a middleman you can think of.
just
Like
because it's better for the consumer doesn't mean it's a good idea.
I just picture this shady guy in a trench coat on a street corner going, "Hey, you want games? I've got games." You know, like and just no.
I mean, no, that's an effective analogy, right? That's basically what G2A is. I mean, they are like they are the grossest. Like, cut out the developer completely, give us all the money.
But they're working so hard and they're having people put out the name and address, and it doesn't matter that you can fake a name and address.
Guaranteed the address is actually based out of like some vacant lot.
I'm sure in some cases it is. That's what happens with gray market operations.
All right. Let's move on to some new games here, and we're going to hit the quickie button on this one. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Turbo speed.
Pokemon Masters. Woo! It's a mobile game where you get to send out a team, not of Pokemon, but of the Pokemon Masters from the Vidya games, and you can have them be your Pokemon.
So the humans are Pokemon now?
Yes. And
All right, I'm into it.
they send out the thing, and then they do the battle for you.
Do you get to name your trainers?
No, the trainers keep their name because they're still Brock is still Brock.
Can you trade the trainers?
I believe so.
So they're letting you do human trafficking.
You know, there's something a little bit unwholesome about this whole thing, isn't there?
You mean the concept of Pokemon or this game in specific?
Yes.
Well, you consider the original story of Pokemon. You're an 11-year-old that's been kicked out of your ass by your mom, set out across the world to enslave cute little animals and bend them to your will by making them battle each other until one of them faints.
So now you can enslave humans and tell them to do your will.
Hold on, real quick. There's a sandcastle Pokemon now?
There's a lot of Pokemon now.
Like, I know that I joke
Dude,
about
there's chandeliers and trash bags.
Well, no, I always joke about the trash bag because that's like the epitome of like the final idea you can think of. And also, I love the story behind why they made the trash bag Pokemon. But I had never seen the sandcastle one, and maybe there's a new low for what they could make a Pokemon out of. It's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just more of a surprising thing. Okay, I got Brock with no shirt. I'm good. Okay. I'm in.
That is coming out sometime this summer. Exact dates are still not pinned down yet, but coming soon. So keep an eye on your mobile phones. Next game. There is a new game that sure as fuck looks like ActRaiser. It's called Soul Seraph. It's written like ActRaiser would, in the ActRaiser would words, and you do a side-scrolling platforming in order to get money so you can build your cities.
Huh.
Oh, and you're an angel.
So totally not ActRaiser.
Totally not ActRaiser, but it is coming from the team that brought you Rock of Ages and Xenoclash, so it's going to be good. It's going to be a good game.
It looks good. It also looks a lot like ActRaiser.
It looks exactly like fucking ActRaiser. It is coming out July the 10th, so next week, that is next Wednesday, you can play totally not ActRaiser on your PC, PlayStation 4, Switch, Xbox One, etc.
I'm not gonna lie, totally not ActRaiser. Better name than Soul Seraph. Sticks in the brain a bit more. It's Sega's making it. Of course it's not. Of course it's ActRaiser. Just call it ActRaiser 2.
No, there was an
Sega's
ActRaiser 2. It sucked. This is ActRaiser, not ActRaiser.
Do like Highlander 2, erase that bullshit. This is the Renegade cut, ActRaiser 2.
Alright, Super Mario Maker 2 is out, and everyone fucking loves it. The skies have split, and lo, there is nothing but joy. The story mode everyone has praised for being new and original, yada yada. Everyone seems to be super happy with this fucking game. I haven't got my hands on it, no one else has got their hands on it.
I want to get my hands on it.
I would love to, but it costs money, and I gotta save up my money so that I can buy non-ActRaiser.
No. No, this does look rad. I'm just glad that we have more tools to build just fucking like torture chambers for people to watch Twitch streamers go through.
Oh yeah, you know this game
Yeah.
was built for YouTube and Twitch streams to go, oh, look at that pain.
Oh yeah.
It's the game of trying to build the most rage quittiest level possible.
Just up to the point where people don't actually quit. Just to that point.
I do like that the story mode seems to like take you through the majority of the tools and kind of shows you different ideas or like different ways to like experiment with the stuff, so that you can like figure out stuff that you might want to do with it too. Like it's a really good addition. If you were gonna make a sequel to Mario Maker, that's exactly something you would want to put in there.
Yeah, and it teaches game design to these people. Oh, it's a little bit more difficult than, hey, plop in 500 Goombas with some fire flowers and go to town. There's more to it. There's a subtleness. Maybe they'll learn. I doubt it.
Eventually, maybe some. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's going to be a One Punch Man video game. It's going to be a One Punch Man video game. How is there going to be a One Punch Man video game? One Punch Man does one punch. How is there going to be a One Punch Man video game?
If you can make one button Madden, you can make one button fighting game.
He's got a point.
Dive Kick did it already.
Dive Kick did, but I doubt they're going to do Dive Kick, because there's more to it. Now, some people have said along the lines of, hey, what if he has just like a boredom meter, and, you know, he doesn't really attack back and stuff.
Now, see, like, there's some interesting ideas you could do with that sort of thing, especially considering how like the characterization of One Punch Man, whose actual character name escapes me at the moment because I haven't watched that anime in a long time. But like, there's definitely like some different things you could do with that, just like the zaniness and over the top nature of that world. At the same time, though, it's an odd time to have a One Punch Man game come out. I feel like the pinnacle of interest in One Punch Man was like 4 years ago.
Well, season 2 of the anime did just come out, and people seem to be pretty happy with it, all things told. So
okay, I didn't know that the second season of the anime came out recently, so that makes more sense. And also,
And it was just released on Netflix too.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a quieter release because Studio Bones that made season 1 isn't the one making season 2 of the anime, so anime Twitter was all, but it's not the same people and it doesn't look as good, and people still seem to like it. Okay, so yeah. Anime. Last game. River City Girls. Fuck yes.
Speaking of anime.
Oh, it's gonna be anime as shit. This is coming published by Way Forward. It is being built by why is my brain escaping me on that? By the developers.
Arc System Works.
Arc System Works. There you go. It is the gender bid take on River City Ransom, where instead of the girlfriends being kidnapped, the boyfriends get kidnapped, and the girls go out and punch face. And it is It looks a lot like it looks a lot like Double Dragon Z Neon, but better from the art style that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. All I can see right now is the combination of those brass knuckles and those knee highs, and I am fucking jealous. And also, I need to play this game. That's you want speed round? That's speed round. I need to play this game. Give it to me, and then give me a 10-episode anime.
The soundtrack is proudly featuring as well the fabulous Nate Wants to Battle. So I don't know how you fucking do better than this from the sounds of it. It won't come out till next month. I need it tomorrow, but it's coming out next month for $30.
And I mean, everybody is, or a lot of people are saying, hey, there's not enough strong female protagonists. Well, hey, guess what? A game entirely built around two strong female protagonists.
Boom.
Bring it.
Yes. And also, now that we live in a world where Capcom is letting the Street Fighter characters advertise for cops, I'm glad that we have two anime Japanese young women that are perfectly fine getting baseball bats and brass knuckles and going out in the streets to fucking kneecap some motherfuckers.
Actually, I just found a little bit of the Vidya.
Oh yeah, the trailer.
Yeah.
The trailer looks
Yes.
rad. The trailer looks good.
Let's
The
throw
music
that
in the
out
trailer too.
so we can enjoy ourselves before moving on to our next story just a little bit. Muting the audio because, other people
Yeah,
take it up. But
all the usual. Just imagine some chiptune anime intro stuff talking about River City girls and how they have to save their boyfriends. Like literally, the song's about them being River City girls and they have to save their boyfriends.
it's chiptune punk rock. Hey, everybody, happy lead female singer, good times.
Yes, this looks so good. Like I'm into this. This is like just the perfect mix to turn my brain off. Just let me beat some motherfuckers with a baseball bat.
I want it.
Hell yeah.
It's like the stuff I grew up on. I grew up on beat 'em ups like that, and it looks so good.
All right, and now we're done with the fun, and on to our final story. Dr.
God.
Disrespect. So, the last time that we did a stream, we talked about the joys of how Dr. Disrespect happened to walk his happy ass in E3 right into a bathroom and kept on filming, to which Twitch gave him a 2-week ban on him being in there.
Yeah, not to mention he had his E3 badge revoked.
Mm-hmm. We still
Because
don't
of
know
it.
about the E3 badge sitch, but we do know that Twitch has brought him back in after a 2-week suspension. A light tap on the wrist for Mr. Bean.
You know, I was listening to Spawn on Me, shout out Khalif, and and like, it's just one of those things where like I think this is also brought up on Kind of Funny, like where like they were talking about how like what do you have to do to get an extensive ban or a perma ban? Like, you broke state law, and you did it multiple times, and you only get suspended for 2 weeks. What the fuck?
Yeah, and you're telling me if this hadn't been a small streamer, that 2 weeks would have been 2 weeks would have been it? Really?
Yeah, that's a big no go.
It comes down to money, guys.
But
No,
He
I
makes Twitch a lot of money.
especially on return streams whenever he's been gone for a while.
But hey, he apologized, and here is his apology. I'd like to talk about Dr. Disrespect's Twitch ban from E3. This was my first IRL stream as the doc, and it's not obvious by now. One of the things I try to stay true with is authenticity. Real life personas are so difficult to pull off, especially in today's society. Doc is edgy, highly opinionated, cocky, etc., and that certainly adds to the difficulty in staying authentic without offending anyone on a deeper personal level. When we're walking around filming at E3, we clearly weren't thinking about the laws/repercussions of filming in the bathroom because honestly, it wasn't in our mind frame at the time. We were sort of all in with the doc livestream experience and capturing the E3 event through the character. We were so into the E3 IRL journey that we became a little blind on what's okay and what's not okay. We had no ill intentions, and I feel that was pretty obvious if you watch the entire thing. We wanted to capture an adventure. Unfortunately, we took the adventure into the wrong areas, unaware of the legalities surrounding it. On behalf of the Dr. Disrespect brand, I apologize for this.
Okay. Let let me get the positive things out first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that Guy Beam apologized
Mm-hmm.
for his actions as Dr. Disrespect. He clearly seems to have learned some form of a lesson. I'm not I really don't think he fully grasps any major part, like major percentage of that lesson, but there's a kernel that he grabbed, I think. Um but that being said, he apologized on behalf of the Dr. Disrespect brand.
Not only
This
that,
is
he posted this on his personal Twitter. Didn't bother to retweet this from Dr. Disrespect. This is his personal Twitter.
It hasn't
exactly.
been used since like November.
And also has a drastically lower amount of followers than Dr. Disrespect's does.
Oh, just over 1 million.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just another instance of an online personality hiding behind their brand in order to appease or make good on mistakes that they have made in the broader community. In this case, the outside world, the actual outside world, not just the Twitch online world. Um, it is, to me, that makes it come off so disingenuous in a lot of ways. Like, I'm glad that he actually said something. Like I said, that's a good thing. But at the same time, to basically say that, to speak as if you are not the Dr. Disrespect brand, like, because that's the thing, Guy is Dr. Disrespect. Like, he maintains control of that character, all creative control of it. He deals with the business inquiries applied to it. He does all of the promotional stuff that he is hired to do. He is in full control of this thing. Him and Dr. Disrespect are one and of themselves, outside of maybe Guy doesn't do Chinese accents in a really shitty manner on a regular basis. Or at least the same regular basis as Dr. Disrespect does, which is not that regular, but he still did it. So for him to basically talk like they're two separate things in a lot of ways, and to act like he's not like pretty much solely responsible for a lot of this stuff is really frustrating. And then to like note multiple times a commitment to authenticity. Like, I don't understand how you can even try and claim authenticity um in and of yourself whenever you are saying that you want to make sure the character you're playing is authentic to who you are and represents who you are, but also you're playing a character that is way more edgy and not necessarily who you are. Like, this thing, he is putting on a character constantly when he dons that wig. He makes all of his appearances as Dr. Disrespect. He rarely ever speaks publicly as just Guy Beam. And so most people will only see him as Dr. Disrespect. They will believe the man behind that character to be the character. So when he's talking about authenticity, like, there is a message that is clearly skewed, where like there is nothing authentic about anything that he does or says, or at least calls into question the intentions behind anything that he does or says.
It's funny to me that you mentioned the Kind of Funny podcast because I was listening myself, and I was in some amount of agreement actually for the whole thing of what good old Game Over Greggy himself, Greg Miller, had to say about it. That he listened to the argument, and he felt like maybe he learned a little something, and that he was willing to listen to some thoughts until this following bit came along. Uh, so, Kotaku, of course, reported on it. Now, some people have been, why is Kotaku reporting on this? This isn't a video game. It's fucking video game culture. Fuck off.
Yeah. Like if I was working at Kotaku, I'd be reporting on it. It's relevant.
Yeah. And most of it is fairly positive to Guy Beam, except for about this one paragraph. On one hand, this was a much needed apology, but on the other hand, it reads almost like Beam is using his character and brand as a shield against accepting full responsibility for his own action. Beam is the Dr. Disrespect brand, so it's odd to see him apologizing on behalf of it. After all, Dr. Disrespect is a character created and played by Beam, and presumably Beam is in full control of his faculties when he's playing that character, regardless of how much he's yelling. Other streamers also attended E3, but Doc was the only one to stroll into a bathroom with a camera, multiple times no less, despite messages in his chat and on social media saying it might not be such a good idea.
Before we move on, like, I totally agree that the apology, while appreciated, it does ring a little hollow. But we also don't know the conditions that Twitch laid out for his return to the platform. It could have been, you have to apologize or we keep your channel. So this could be a, mom said I had to say sorry.
I mean, you're not wrong. Twitch hasn't said anything about any reasoning behind why they only suspended him for 2 weeks. So
Yeah, we honestly have no idea what was worked out behind the scenes, and for a guy as large as Guy, of course they're going to have somebody dedicated to speak with him on behalf of Twitch and figure this whole thing out. So, it's also possible they asked him to apologize. So, on from that, of course, Dr. Disrespect did not retweet Guy's tweet, so nobody really saw the apology. He didn't say anything on Twitch about it at all when he came back. What he did tweet from Dr. Disrespect is this here tweet. Hey guys, Jason Schreier here, editor for Kotaku. Analytics say that Kotaku is on the uprise, averaging 3 to 5 likes per tweet compared to 1 to 3 years ago. I also wrote a book about video games. I don't want to brag, but it's a favorite here at the offices. I hate myself. And then tweeted Jason Schreier's receding hairline.
yeah, so this actually goes back to a few different tweets. Other than this, so this all started because there was another. I'm trying to pull up the reply here. Here we go. So, some Dr. Disrespect fan went on Twitter talking about the Kotaku article, like basically talking about how Nathan Grayson, the author of the article, just basically was like deriding Dr. Disrespect, and then tagged in Jason Schreier, saying, hire more writers that actually have good ideas and integrity, like Jason Schreier, not this hack that farts out articles, in quotes, that read like something on Fox News. And the minute that they tagged in Jason Schreier, he decided to respond because he doesn't normally do this sort of thing, but if you get underneath somebody's skin enough like this, like it's gonna happen. Even though he was complimenting him, like Jason has basically supported Nathan's reporting all throughout this entire fiasco. But Jason responded by saying, I don't know why you keep tweeting at me about this, but Nathan is an excellent reporter and I stand by everything he's written about the toilet streamer. Beautiful. To which that got Dr. Disrespect's attention. Because he responded initially in this whole like weird beef that played out over a morning. I wouldn't worry too much, Neil, which was the Twitter fan. No one in the community knows these guys. Kotaku's growth is spiraling down faster than Schreier's hairline. To which Jason Schreier replied, "LOL, good one, but that's not actually me losing hair. It's the Jason Schreier brand." Which
Oh, that's
Okay.
beautiful.
Jason Schreier has been on his burn point in this whole thing. So that happened on July 2nd. Later on, July 2nd, we saw the first tweet go out, basically doing the same thing that he did to Jason in this tweet that we're talking about here to Nathan before he went after Jason. So the tweet that he directed at Nathan says, "Hey guys, Nathan Grayson here, hotshot reporter at the almighty Kotaku website. You know, I've written so many cool things in my life, but nothing compares to my coverage of the 2009 Mobile Angry Birds $100 tournament. And guess what? I won," with a picture of Nathan attached to the tweet. And then he followed that up with this tweet about Jason, focused on his hairline, to which I believe Jason offered a response that falls directly in line with his past record of owning Dr. Disrespect.
Hey man, like I said, I'd be happy to chat anytime. If it makes you feel more comfortable, I can Skype from the bathroom.
Yeah.
I understand that Dr. Disrespect is the heel. Obviously, some of us follow wrestling here and we understand the concept of a heel. But the heel has to have some amount of comeuppance occasionally. And if you don't have any comeuppance coming from a situation like this, nobody gives a fuck about the heel that's over the age of 15 years old.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, like, literally, this is just like any semblance that you might have thought that Guy learned anything from this, out the fucking window as soon as this shit showed up. Because here's the thing, like, you don't direct that kind of anger at a publication like Kotaku without merit. And Kotaku did nothing wrong in this case. They reported on the issue. They brought the apology that did not go out to Dr. Disrespect's 1.09 million followers. They brought that up to light so people could understand that it actually happened, unlike what Guy was doing with it. And then, like, you know, they editorialized a little bit, but not not overly so. Like, they offered a bit of opinion. They offered, like, I think what a lot of people were feeling after it came down, you know. And then Dr. Disrespect and Guy, by association, because he is the Dr. Disrespect brand, showed just how trivial he took this whole situation. And it showed his true colors. And I really think that it is gross that he has now basically mobilized his following that does not give a fuck about any of the shit of the, like, problematic stuff that he does. Like, his chat was lighting up with emotes whenever he wasn't even streaming, because his fan base is that devoted to him. And the fact that you are mobilizing those people against an outlet for doing their jobs it puts it over the top for me. It makes it just like one of the just most disgusting things that I've seen from a Twitch personality in a rather long time.
It just reeks of like schoolyard bullshit little man syndrome on his part.
Yeah, so ultimately for me, it comes together. I don't see how you can be apologetic at all if coming right out the bat on your show you have no apology, your show's socials has no apology, and in fact your show's socials go on the attack straight out the bat.
Yeah.
I would love to think you learned something from all this. That, you know, you talk to Twitch and you want to get everything nice and good and together, and you're willing to understand that you fucked up, and everyone fucks up every now and again. God bless. I have been on several rants of bullshit before and done some really stupid things that I would love to apologize for. I don't stream my entire day, so, you know, there's not as much for me to apologize about because none of the dumb shit I do ever makes it to the internet. That being said, I might have a few more words to say if I'm sorry, and then hey, let's move on to the funny business. Let's be the heel again.
Yeah, I mean, you have to actively get out in front of this issue and like show that you've grown in some way if you want to curry any favor from the people that are, you know, that are like criticizing you. And the thing is, like, despite what we might think of the apology, a lot of people saw that in the apology that he sent out. A lot of people weren't necessarily questioning it because of, you know, where it wasn't retweeted at or where it wasn't spoken about, you know. But even people that saw a majority of good coming from that statement, I don't understand how they can still have that feeling seeing this stuff come out. And it should be noted that it's been over 24 hours since those tweets went out. Dr. Disrespect has not apologized for the statements. Neither has Guy Beam on his personal Twitter account either. And I haven't watched if he streamed in the past 24 hours. I'm sure he has, but I haven't watched the stream to see if he apologized on the air. But I'm pretty sure that he hasn't, because there hasn't been any reporting about that, and it would not be within the Dr. Disrespect brand. You can't see how hard I'm doing air quotes right now when I say that, to offer an apology for fucking anything.
Yeah, and this isn't going to lose him any viewers because his viewers are all children and they don't give a fuck. They just know the guy's funny and want to stay watching the guy. But the industry, every single person I've heard is really not happy or favorable to him anymore. But it's probably not going to hurt him because he's a solo streamer that does his own fucking thing. What does he fucking need it for? So,
Well, and it's also a case of too, like I would love to see the analytics for his channel for the 2 weeks that he was suspended, because like I wasn't super familiar with him. I had vaguely heard of him before all of this happened. And so this has brought his name to the forefront, and like no press is good or bad press, right?
Whenever your fan base doesn't care that you put bad press out into the public, yeah.
oh, I mean, keep in mind this is the guy that before had to quit streaming for a while, and he did apologize that time, because he cheated on his wife and had to refocus on his real life before going back to streaming.
Yeah, I think that was the only time he's ever broken character on stream, like actively broken character. I know he's like he's like he's broken up like laughing, but like the first time he actually like took off the wig and was talking as Guy Beam, quote unquote, you know.
So there you go. Dr. Disrespect. Let's not talk about him anymore.
Get fucked. Dr. Disrespect, get fucked.
But that does bring us to the end of tonight's stream. I want to remind everyone that we will be returning to somewhat of a regular schedule. We will be every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 9 p.m. That's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, etc., etc. And on Sundays for the rest of the month, I will be streaming something at about 9 p.m. Eastern. Just because I would like to get some things out, but also with a little bit of a request of please follow, please tell your friends about the actual podcasty type thing, because we're trying to hit the achievement so that we can be the affiliate.
Yes.
Yeah,
July is our push to become Twitch affiliate. So tell all your friends, share the podcast, share the tweets, share the streams, tune into the streams, get all your friends to follow, click the little heart at the top of there. I don't mind doing this shill.
Yeah,
It's my job in some
we've
ways.
got the number of viewers per stream, and once we, stream a little bit more rather than once a week, that will fill up everything else except for the number of followers. So thank you also for everyone who comes routinely and comes and watches, even if you don't say anything. That's cool. I'm just
Nothing wrong
happy
with
that
lurkers.
people are listening.
We
Yes.
like being your weekly nerdy news source.
As well, follow us on youtube.com/cbgbgames, and we probably will be coming to all of the podcasty type stuff in the upcoming weeks. Deals are being worked out on how to get that worked out, so expect more details on that in the future.
Yes, and also don't forget you can follow us on Twitter as well at deadsun_ent.
I will say that account is not used as much as we probably should, but
It's not. Sorry.
of course, there are our individual accounts. I'm at CBGP Games. I believe we have Lady Merowin and OGT Wonderboy.
At Wonderboy OTM.
At Wonderboy ATM. There we go.
And
Yes.
at L Merowin.
There we go. So, all of that chilling out of the way, of course, we end every episode of Mr. Video Games by proclaiming this week's Mr. Video Games. It is somebody who has done something so stupid, so wonderful, so delightful, such a travesty, that it can only be described as this is what video games is. And our winner of the Mr. Video Game Award for this week is Bella Delphine for selling Gamer Girl bathwater. At $30 a jar, you can also have Gamer Girl bathwater. Promised to have been bathed in by Bella herself, the lady who has gone viral because she's done the anime porn faces and made some jokey joke shit on the porn hubs.
I will admit, and as much as I hate to give her credit, one of her Pornhub stunts was fucking genius. And you've got it there now, where she has 3.8 million Instagram followers. She said that she would create a Pornhub account if one of her photos received over 1 million likes. She celebrated hitting that milestone by posting a series of misleading videos on the porn site. One of the videos, entitled "PewDiePie Goes All the Way Inside," Belle Delphine saw her eating a photo of the Swedish YouTuber. Like that takes some brains.
Yes. I am all the way in for a fun Pornhub troll.
Yeah, so,
But
you
would
know what?
Spend $30 on her bathwater.
Hell no.
Oh no. No, come on. That's dumb. Like this is clearly like I think this is basically just an experiment to see who would actually buy it.
I think she's actually taking female gamers and female streamers back a couple of dozen steps because, like, she's catering to the creepies and doing the whole look, I'm pretty. So if I tell you you're going to buy this water, you're going to do it, okay? And just no, stop. Please. On behalf of female gamers and streamers everywhere, stop taking away our credibility. You're wrecking it. Stop.
But Lindsay, it's for the lulz, don't you understand?
Yeah, but for the lulz affects my livelihood.
I swear to God, I would live happily for the rest of my days if I never have to hear anybody say that they are doing something simply for the lulz. Ugh.
Or doing it for the gram, let's be real.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I will say that this as much as it is problematic for like female presence online, especially in the video game world. This is a brilliant like experiment to kind of disprove a lot of the like anti-titty streamer sentiment that comes from male communities within the video game world. Specifically like people that are saying like, oh well, they're just profiteering off of sexuality and blah blah blah, but yet some of those people will probably be the same people that buy this sort of thing. So in some ways, just like you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. So like in that way, like I find it a little bit empowering. At this is it's both. It's both though. Like I completely agree with you on that. So
it's a combination of bad and good. Let's be entirely real here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also got to consider the guys who are saying, oh, women have it so much easier for Twitch and for YouTube because boobs are also typically those same creepy guys that we have to chase out of our DMs because they're pervs.
Oh yeah, almost always.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, I mean, do you really think that thought that they're talking out both sides of their mouth is actually going to occur to them?
Oh no, it's not going to. But the thing is, like, it will be proven out in the public sphere in a lot of ways. Considering, looking at how many of these she actually sells, like, you know.
Somebody actually did the math and they said that, like, even if like 0.5% of the people who actually liked the ad that she put out for this bought this, she would be bringing in like $570,000.
Yeah.
And you know what? If she makes that money off of this, I can only respect the grind, even if it's a fucking stupid grind. Congratulations.
Yep. Make your bills.
It's fucking dumb, and I see how it's getting in your way, but it's not getting in my way, so fuck it. Alright, this has been Mr. Video Game Super Show for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2019. Brian, you got any final words for us this evening?
Well, I just want everyone to have a happy 4th. Even though, Linz, I know you don't celebrate the 4th up where you are, but still, have a happy 4th. And if you have some downtime, go check out my article on Sonic Box's win at CEO 2019 over on Outsports.com, as well as my latest article that went up today about how some homophobia in WWE and UFC was exposed via the Trump, the leak of Trump vetting documents.
Lindsay, did you have a good Canada Day, you hoser?
I had a fantastic Canada Day. Many beer, many beer. Um, but yeah, for both you guys and everybody watching, because I figure y'all from the US, happy 4th. I hope it's fantastic. Go celebrate the independence of your country by blowing a small chunk out of it. I hope y'all have a great night.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we're gonna celebrate by having a bunch of tanks. I don't know if you heard.
Mm-hmm. But it
It's
may
just a
rain,
bunch of-
so we can't have
just a-
tanks.
Just a bunch of tanks. Tanks in the rain. Baby
Okay.
Trump gets his tanks.
Tell you what,
We
Because
that's,
he's totally not a strong man.
We only had an orchestra and fireworks here.
tell you what, that part's not video games. We'll talk about that off the camera. Good night, everybody. Have a pleasant tomorrow.
Night.